Hi, everybody. It's Erin and Simon with Assets and Arbitrage here on this beautiful Saturday, May 11th. It's Mother's Day weekend, so I'm hoping that you guys are out getting your moms the best gifts possible, letting her know how much you appreciate her, how much work she had to do for y'all, how much food she had to feed y'all, how many dinners she had to cook for y'all. I'm not taking it personal. I'm just saying something.
Yes, Feliz de Madre.
No, it's
Please
Feliz Dia de la Madre.
There we go. So for all my Hispanic, we got that going on. Also, we want to say, as we always say, keep stacking, keep stacking, keep stacking, keep stacking ounces, satoshis, anything else that you may be invested in. Keep stacking. This is the time for stacking. The Bitcoin price is kind of still not really doing much, right? It's just kind of in that. It's range bound, as we call it. It's range bound for a while. So we keep an eye on that. But there's a lot of things coming, Yeah, it's range bound. If we look at the 1-day chart, looks pretty good. If you don't mind, is this, can I see the 1 month chart?
Yes.
So the 1 month chart is in a downtrend. If you drew it, it would be maybe a descending triangle.
You the market expert, you asking me?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yes?
Yeah, it'd be a descending
See, I would have
triangle.
got that wrong. I would have said a descending wedge.
It is a wedge.
It is a wedge. I got it right.
A descending triangle and a falling wedge. So it'll be a falling wedge.
I was close.
There you go.
I was close,
There you go.
but I'm getting it. I'm gonna learn it.
So yeah, we got a special guest with us today.
Yep.
We want to let some people get in the room before we announce him and talk about. We're going to talk about some good things today.
No, let's announce them, and then when we hit about 20,
Okay.
then we will reintroduce them again. Just because there are people sitting there, so we
Okay.
do want to introduce them, baby.
So let's get to it. So today we have a very special guest, a friend of mine from for many years. I believe I met him when I was about I might have been 11 or 12 back then in the good old days, back in the 90s, y'all.
You were a tween.
Yeah, back in the 90s, y'all. Them was the good old days. But this is a very thorough brother that we have here, so we got to put much respect on his name. He is a educator, and so he's an educator at Aiken High School in Cincinnati, Ohio. He is the director of
African American Studies.
And he is the coordinator of
Speak Up and Speak Out, right?
Yes, indeed. He is a husband.
Yes.
He is a father.
Yes.
And he is an all-around great individual. I got much love for him. So we're going to talk to, we're going to refer to him, Director Neil J. Carroll.
Yeah, let's give him his flowers, y'all. Yeah, we're going to give him flowers. And we want to do a special shout out
after that introduction,
to
that was
his
a
daughter.
powerful introduction.
What'd you say, Neil? We didn't catch it.
I said that was a powerful introduction.
We want to do one more shout out
respect, and
now.
love.
We got to do it for the people.
We got to do one more
Yes,
shout
yes.
out. Whenever Legacy is available, we always want to give our flowers to Legacy. Neil's beautiful daughter, Jade, was just received an award for a wonderful event that she coordinated. But just understand that the educator legacy is in her blood. So we're going to see a whole new generation of nation building, a whole new generation of adding to the education part of the life portfolio of young Black and brown people who are basically our children, because she is the next generation. So we also want to give Jade her flowers.
Give Jade her flowers,
as well. So thanks, Dad, for your influence. And tell us a little bit about your position, the high school, Aiken High School in Cincinnati, the children you work with, the programs that you have going on, and things like that. Just give us a little bit of overview on all of the incredible things you do in the community.
Well, just to give a quick synopsis, I go to Aiken High School, a northern of Cincinnati, Ohio, right on the edges. It's maybe 2 school districts down, 2 neighborhoods down from my own neighborhood and school district that I grew up in, Mighty Mount Healthy High School. They grew up in, and also is a proud alumni. But right now, I am the African American Studies teacher there. I've been in that position. This is, I believe, coming up on my 4th or 5th year. I also direct, which I'm very, very, very proud of. I'm happy leadership thought about me when that position open, created, just so listeners out there. This position was created at Cincinnati Public Schools during the COVID epidemic. People had time on their hands and start thinking about things that they needed to do, that they wanted to happen. And they all formed a kind of a student group. The one that I lead, they formed a group, brought their concerns about how their school experience to be. They with our superintendent, other community leaders, and kind of demanded that they had history that was based their history, and they wanted to talk to them by a person that looked like them and could relate to them. And they decided to make sure that all students had this Black history, this African American studies, whatever you want to call it. They wanted to have their history taught to them by a person that looked like them. So they gave me a call once they found out I was at another school district. At that time, I was at Aiken First, left and went to another school district. And when this position opened up, my leadership at Cincinnati Public Schools reached out to me. You know, the perfect person to fit. So I'm proud it went that way. I'm also part of Speak Up and Speak Out, which you mentioned earlier, Ms. And with that group is also an offshoot of the original group that put it together for me to be back at Aiken. So, you know, for the young people out there that feel like they don't have a voice, I let my students know on like day one when they come in, I wouldn't be standing in front of you if it wasn't for powerful students like yourself that spoke up and spoke out, make sure that they had change and that they had the type of education experience that they're worthy of, that they need. So that's kind of what I'm doing at Aiken High School. The Speak Out group is basically a group of Black and brown students that are community leaders. They get out and do things like marches against gun violence we've been involved in. We've also sat down with community leaders, with mayor, vice mayor, all of those decision makers. They get with them. They talk about the concerns that students have. They're out in the community, all type of great things. Putting together programs to, like I said, stop the violence, which was our #1 initiative. They kind of vote on what they want to attack throughout the year. And just a magnificent group of Black and brown students that we have there. And they do that. And I also do some volunteer work. Well, I work with Cincinnati Public Wing that combats their homelessness, which is a rampant problem, unfortunately, in Cincinnati. It hits the Black and brown community much harder. Like most socioeconomic problems, they feel it probably a lot more than the other demographics. And I do work with them as well. I do that 3 to 4 days out of the week. It's called. I do a lot of tutoring. I tutor our kids, our kids that are dealing with homelessness. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now, on top of the most important job, dad, husband, those other titles. So that's
Neil,
what basically I'm
I'm
doing
gonna
right now.
ask you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to come a little bit closer to the computer. In the chats, they're saying it's a little bit choppy and it's low. So if you can come a little bit closer, talk a little bit louder. We caught most of
Am I
it
a little
though,
better
but
now?
it's a little bit choppy, and that might be the Wi-Fi.
And make sure it's not mine.
My bad.
It's not ours.
Is that a little bit better?
Yes, that's much better. We can hear you loud and clear. No, that's not ours though. I'm watching a dash. So, with all of the things that you're doing in the community, do you guys at Aiken have like financial programs where you can introduce the marginalized demographics that you guys have, basically in your tutelage from day to day? Do you guys have financial programs or introduction to budgeting, things like that to kind of get them started?
Yes, with the speak up and speak out, we did it, meet with, let me say, it's the level that it needs to be. But we do have, I would call it introductory, a couple of the leadership conferences that I've taken my students on with our Speak Up and Speak Out group. We did have some financial planners, some people that are doing some accountants and different people in different real financial based careers. They got an opportunity to speak with our students and kind of talk to them about the power of investment, kind of the power of credit, those different introductory needs to be, the financial literacy piece needs to be a much greater focus. I think we do have a class at Aiken that gives them, I think, a basic, kind of the basics on that, and it's an elective. It's an elective course that I think they can take and kind of, we'll talk to them about literacy and credit readiness and credit worthiness. So it is there. I try to add on my piece to my Speak Up and Speak Out students that I lead and have them meet with some people that know what they're doing, that are financially literate, but it needs a lot of improvement, right? It's at the beginning stages.
What are some of the things that you think like Simon and I could do in order to maybe help supplement that aspect, even on a virtual level? Obviously, we're a whole country away,
Yeah.
but that's well within our wheelhouse. Also, because they are the next generation, the technological aspect of it, right? Bitcoin is a very important, it's going to be a crucial key in their future.
Director Carroll, what I would say, we talk about Bitcoin a lot, and Bitcoin is technology. It's a lot of things. If you know, it is, as they call it, it's property in cyberspace, right? Because if you sell Bitcoin, you will be taxed as if you sold property, not as capital gains tax. So people have to understand the technology of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is kind of a thing that's, I liken it to the internet, that, eventually it's going to have to be integrated into all things that people are going to do within the next 15 to 20 years. So we like to get the young people in on Bitcoin and Bitcoin boot camps and learning things like that. Do you think that would be something that would be useful in the things that you do? And also, not to make it too long, one of the people on this channel, one of the owners of the channel, Isaiah Jackson, Bitcoin Zay, he wrote a book called Bitcoin in Black America and the reasons that Black people should own Bitcoin. Is this something we have to get to them right now, do you think?
I think absolutely, definitely so. I completely agree with you. Like when it comes to Bitcoin and how you likened it to the internet, where it's something when it first started off, it's like, oh my goodness, but it's just where it is just part of your everyday life, and also like the way that you likened it to the internet, where people had an opportunity to really make great financial gains, by getting in early and things of that nature. So I definitely think that this is something that our kids need to they need to navigate. They need to navigate. Aiken is a new technology. It's definitely something that I wholeheartedly agree with. I think it's something that we need to have some mastery of. And I'd love to see you all. And a matter of fact, I'm hoping maybe this next upcoming school year, or maybe with a couple of the summer programs that I think I want to get interested, that I want to get involved with. Man, it would be great to have you guys maybe speak to our students, or maybe, a curriculum where they could be under your tutelage individually, and figure out a way to navigate just that training, like you mentioned earlier. Sure.
Yeah, most definitely,
So,
man. And I'm definitely down for that. If you have the summer program, if I could get flued in, I you know what I'm saying, I come drop all kind of knowledge. If I get flued in, then Director Carol, can I get flued in? I can't get flued in.
Hey, we'll figure it out, man. Most definitely. We'll try to make it happen.
Sure, you can write it off.
Sure.
You can write it off.
Yeah, we'll definitely make it happen. Yeah, we'll figure. Hey, I know if CPS backs me, I know that they got all type of money, and we'll figure out the finances. That part is easier. We'll make a way to make it work. Whether it's us or the community, whatever the case may be. But it's something that I think definitely needs to happen. It's definitely something we need to be schooled on. Something that I know I would love to be schooled on more myself. So
let me ask you, as an educator, let me ask you this: what really got to you that you wanted to help the youth? I understand you had a very successful career in sales.
Yes.
So what made you just transition to say, you know what, let me get with the youth, let me do this, let me do that? Did something touch you, or you just felt like you needed to go in that direction? Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, okay. So this thing's gonna be it's emotional. So this one's emotional, right? Again, first Mother's Day, who just recently passed back a few months ago.
That's right.
So I'm having one of those moments. I'm at now. I just finished building it a couple years, and I was having some added on. I was putting some in the backyard. I'm having one of those moments. I'm like, man, my life has been incredibly blessed. Right? My life has been incredibly blessed. I'm thinking about all the great things. I'm excited about the little things I'm having in my mouth. Got a great, incredible wife, incredible child, incredible support. I'm proud. I'm thinking these things, and I'm thinking, how did I get to this point? So I started thinking about all of the incredible support that I had with my family, from my mother to my brothers, my uncles, all of those people that surround. I thought about the incredible camaraderie and the neighborhood support that I had back home in the heritage that you were a part of. When I thought about that, I had friends that allowed me to be me, that just, loved me, supported me when I needed support, and kind of correct. I thought like maybe two. Mrs. Todd, she's my fourth grade teacher. We still have a great relationship. I talk to her often, but not reach out to her. But I thought about her. I thought she was my teacher. I had just switched. I left our school. I left my school that I grew up in New Burlington, and I went to this private school for a few years. Just due to some testing, I test doing some things. So I go to this school, and I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be back with my guys from the heritage. Yeah. And gone away from them for a while, and this woman was so instrumental. She completely had me. Like, she saw me, felt me on different levels that only, I think, for a young Black and brown student in America, somebody that's lived my experience, somebody that looked like me, that could relate to me, and she completely had me. So I thought about her, and I started thinking to myself, yeah, things are going great. I'm making multiple six figures. I'm doing great on that. But I did not want to say, okay, if I was to check out right now, I basically would just say that career-wise, the only thing I really did was just make a billionaire richer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These Toyota and GM did really well in sales and sales management and was doing great. But really, the only thing I was doing was making a billionaire richer. And I started thinking that I want to have that same impact on somebody's life that leads to the success that I was enjoying. This and influence me. It was my fourth grade, of course, the other people in my community. And that's when I said, you know what? I'm going to switch this thing up. My father, he's a 30-plus year public school teacher for the Chicago Public Schools. So I know it was in my DNA. I always wanted to do it. I used to tell Pete, Brian, I used to tell my homeboy that I'm going to retire for a professor. And I just thought to myself, I'm not going to wait. I know this is something I always wanted to do. I want to have that same success like my favorite teacher and a few of my other teachers had on me to help shape me. And I just decided, all right, I'm going to switch this thing up. I'm going to take it down the education path. And it was an interesting conversation in life. I'm about to become, starting, but we were kind of prepared for that, so it all worked out well. So I just give praise to the Almighty that I have an understanding, wife, and incredible voice throughout this whole mission in the education, which I must say is one of the very best moves that I've ever made in my life. It's been incredibly enriching, and it's just been a powerful move. And I'm just so grateful I was able to make it. So that's it.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. So, I'm sorry, I was going to ask. Did you have a question? I got questions for Dave, director, Carol. I do. But so we're gonna go this direction. Let's see where we go. So, when I came up, my father was very. He made sure that I understood what was going on. Like I tell people to this day, my favorite book is the autobiography of Malcolm X, as written by Alex Haley. So, I love that book. That's my favorite book right now. And so he had me reading that young. He had me to Marcus Garvey, understanding that. And so as a young person, I understood all these things that were going on. And I understood the need for us to meet up globally and try to do things globally if possible. So, I got like a two-part question for you. Number one question I would like to know, Director Carol, are you a Pan-African? And two, I want to know, what do you think we could do to make the Black and brown community more solidified, more effective?
That's an awesome and it's an important question. Number one, more than Africanness.
Okay.
Thank goodness that I had the same type of leadership in my home with my mother. She was an avid reader. She had me reading. We were reading about Marcus Garvey early, his Pan-Africanism.
Mm-hmm.
We were reading Frantz Fanon. That was also a book that had to be read in my house. My mom didn't really voices back then. She knew that there had to be another education outside of the public school education that we were getting that was incredibly lacking, and another reason that I want to teach as well. So always reading. I read other Frantz Fanon, these people outside of America and moved into America, and they saw those same common problems that the world poses for people of African descent. And they saw that there's now on this planet, in this colonialism in European countries, which of course, we can always come back to, but we feel every day. So I knew then early, right? I knew early as a young man that we had to break down these barriers in our minds. My mother was always on me to break those barriers down. And number one, to get as much knowledge as you can. Reading is the key. Gaining as much knowledge. I think to answer to jump into the second part of the question, how do we make these connections and have our kids thinking globally? Pan-Africanist attitude that let's embrace the app as people of African descent throughout this planet, wherever you may be throughout the African diaspora, because there's a togetherness that we do have, that we feel. There's a, I don't know, a spiritual kinship between our, being an African member of the diaspora. So let's go ahead and build these other connections as well. Let's build those financial, right? Let's build those political connections. Let's build connections that that you would feel as a member of that diaspora. Being an educator, I had type of that when I was young, visit these other countries. I believe the way that I was taught and the way that I have tried to instruct my daughter, it's led her to have this type of outlook on things, which I think is important. We have to build that spiritual kinship that I think is just naturally there. I think we need to also couple that with the financial and political connections with all people throughout the African diaspora, black and brown, wherever they may be on the planet. And I think with this knowledge building, with reading and seeing things from different perspectives, I'm going to speak to the African American people, the black people here in America. I think it's for us to find and see it through the lens that the media shoots out to us on what's going on in the places where black and brown people are throughout the planet. So I think that's important as well. So you should be reading Marcus Garvey, right? Now, quick question, Gordon, did anybody ever talk to you about Marcus Garvey at school? Ever?
At school? No, not at school. No, not at school. So yeah, that was only my father.
Something about how important that is that your father was telling you to read about that and learn about Marcus Garvey, learn about Malcolm X. That we talked about this Pan-Africanism in my class. We read about it. So I'm trying to bring that point of view and that way of seeing to my students where they see things globally. So I guess to answer the second part of the question a little more succinctly, I think gaining knowledge and seeing things outside of the normal lens of what they're filtered to us through the media and our normal outlets, educational outlets, strengthen that. I think that bond Pan-African from a different perspective, the unity that needs to be present through that throughout the African diaspora.
Yeah, so I guess I'll get a second part to that question. Don't you want to clarify that question?
Well, I did have a question. As an educator in Cincinnati Public Schools, I'm gonna let you guys get back to the Pan-African talk, but I do wonder this. As an educator in Cincinnati Public Schools, with the program and all of the support that you work to giving the student population, in your assessment, in your experience, your anecdotal point of view, how receptive are the students to education?
Can I ask like a clarifying question on that one?
Mm-hmm.
How receptive are students themselves, or are we talking about the decision makers on the people that are setting up curriculum and things of that nature? I guess that's the question.
The students themselves.
Oh, I think the students are on the whole, I would say very receptive education, but it falls on the teacher's shoulders. I know some people are going to have some pushback here, but I think that does fall on the teacher's shoulders. I think it's my duty as a teacher to make things interesting to my students, for them to see the connection that it has to them and what I would like to call real time. Because a lot of things we're talking about, it's historical. So I got to get them to see that the things we're talking about back then, it completely and totally impacts their everyday. And, the people that can gain perspective from the past, they're able to be more present in the present, and it allows them to shape the future. So I kind of talked to them about that. So I think it's my duty to make sure that they're receptive to it by making it interesting, by pointing out that everything we do in this classroom is important, but I try to make sure that everything I do in this classroom is going to serve them on an individual basis outside of the classroom. Like that's the real important part. What they learn here is important, and being in the present is important, but I think building that bridge in their mind to see that every movement they make, if I have them reading something or talking about something, I want them to be able to relate it to their real
right.
It's going to impact their future. A lot of that falls on the plate. It's part of the way that we have to carry to make sure that you're in tune with your students, and your students see, there is a connection there. Because if they don't see that, then it makes it really, really tough. Right? It makes it tough. People gonna tune out. I don't want to learn about all these old people or stuff that happened, thousands of years ago. You have to.
Yeah, that's how you do.
Right. Yeah.
I do want to read some of the comments.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to read some of the comments the chatters had while you were talking, right? So you could at least share this with your students as well. These are grown folk, right? But I want to welcome Let Freedom Ring. Bam, thank you so much for joining. Crip Work. E the Great. You got the best handle ever, right? I'm E. I love that. E the Great.
She's E Money Bags. E Money Bags.
Except I'm not out, torturing people. Crip Work said she went to a predominantly Black school and she excelled education. Oh, she went to a predominantly Black school and excelled education schools and was taught Black history. And seeing how things are today, she didn't realize how blessed she was to have that Black education, those Black educational programs within her school. And then E. the Great said the Malcolm X book was the first introduction into what it's like being Black in America. And I'm sure that wasn't introduced to E. the Great in school, right?
That book should be on curriculum. So now I went to I went to a high school, and we were forced to read certain books. The Great Gatsby,
The Pearl,
The Scarlet Letter. What's the one up there where they?
Fiddler on the Roof.
No, the one up there with the women. What were they called?
The Crucible?
Yeah, we had to read The Crucible. All these things we had to read.
We read them too, and I'm from New York.
And Malcolm X, that should be in your curriculum. Like, you should have to read that. But thank you for those comments, guys. At Crip Work, Crip Work, I got just for Crip Work, real quick, because she's a Hot Wheel. I got a new Hot Wheel today, Dodge Challenger. So Crip Work is a Hot Wheel aficionado. So I'm just letting you know I got a Dodge Challenger today. So so let's get back. We're gonna get back to business. Director Carol, I have another question. I want to branch off from the Pan-African view. So we've been out to many of these countries in LATAM, all the way down to Central America, down to South America, and we understand what I have come to know is there's a different thing in the United States because it's a component of racism.
Yes.
But when you get into these other countries, it becomes a component of colorism. And then also, so that's one of the things I would want to ask you about is like colorism. Like you meet somebody in, for example, Nicaragua, and they're darker than us, right? So Now it's colorism and it's nationalism.
And they're poorly treated
And
in their respective countries.
They're poorly treated. So it's like on the ground, I can see how hard it is to have Pan-Africanism because everybody has their own little groups and the way they do things. And I just wonder, maybe in your travels, maybe what have you seen? Because they treat us a certain way because we're Americans. Like, so, and I'm not trying to make this too long of a question, but oh, okay. I'm not, but what I will say is, when you meet people, they're trying to ascertain what type of black person you are. Are you Cuban? Are you Cubano?
I'm either
Dominicano?
Cubana or Dominicana because of my excellence in Spanish speaking.
Anyway, so we'll leave it there. And so they want to see who you are, and then when they realize you might be, American, Canadian, or some from United Kingdom, they'll treat you different than if you were from the Dominican Republic,
Venezuela,
and
Brazil.
and so like when I'm out here, the Pan African is hard. It's hard work because you can't. It's hard to come together, and I don't know if you have any. If you've had to deal with that or not, or if something, something, if you could just let us know that it's hard.
Okay, I kind of feel what you're talking. We went to Dubai, right? So me and the family, me, my wife, and my daughter went to Dubai, and our treatment, even though we were black, because we were American, it was really, really good. Okay, they must have thought to themselves, America, America, there was some affluence there. I mean, it was not, but they might have thought that there was some affluence there, and they did treat us really, really well in Dubai. Now, when I got back to school, I spoke with one of my peers, actually an incredibly brilliant woman, and she is one of the teachers at Aiken High School. She's from the African continent, and she talked about her choice was when she was there. She did not like it. She talked about how terrible that they were treated by the people in Dubai because of her African accent, and they automatically treated her differently than we were treated. Because we were treated great because I guess they found out we were American. I didn't know that was going on. I didn't know that was one of the reasons. I talked to a couple of my friends that travel abroad a lot, Pete, and a couple other people that I know that travel abroad a lot, and they talk about the different treatment that you get as a black person traveling abroad, and that colorism that we talk about, which you just kind of, it's like hard to escape. So I was treated well, and but Dr. Bear said she had was treated horribly because she's from the African continent, and she has the kind of the accent, and they could tell from the way she moves, dresses, talks that she was from Africa, from the African continent, and they treated her completely different. I do have the luxury of having some students that are from Central America. I'm trying to see South America, but no, just Central America. And we talk about this. There's a piece that I do this in class. We talk about colorism. And we talk about the different iterations of colorism throughout the globe. We talk about, of course, American colorism that is based on, slavery, the colonialism. And, we're going to talk and say, rape and sexual assaults that were committed against the enslaved, and how it's created a caste system in America. So we talk about that. We also talk about the other forms of color in Central America that were able to talk on that. Okay, so that was good. We had some students that were able to talk on, in Central America, that the darker you are, and I didn't get to the Caribbean as much, but in Central America, darker skin, that there was differences on how you were treated, differences on opportunities, job opportunities, very similar to the colorism here inside the States. Also have happen to have some people, and we talked about colorism there, which is kind of based in European colonialism or domination, but it comes more with, you know, the light. You are less likely to be probably a person that's more affluent, and you're treated differently. So we were able to talk. We talk about these. We studied this in my class. We talk about these different forms of colorism and their different bases we're on. So I know it's a struggle. I've seen it firsthand. I've been on both ends of this thing. I've seen it firsthand traveling abroad. I see how American blacks are treated sometimes a little bit better. I see how people from the African continent are not treated as nicely. I've talked to some of my students in Central America, and they talked about how being a darker skin. He had one of my students. We kind of talked about how they write in some of the, if you've seen it, witnessed it, or seen on basis. And one of my students wrote that his sister, one of his brother's sister, one of his siblings, has a darker skin, has darker skin than most of the people in his family, and he could see the different treatment that his siblings would get when they were back home. Back home, they would even see the different treatment that she would be treated worse just because she has, you know, darker skin. They were always asking, you know, she's Afro-Latina, and they would kind of ask those different questions. So we talk about it. That's one of the things, you know, in my class. We talk about that colorism. We talk about that also the racism that it leads out to, and we kind of examine it on a lot of different levels. So I hope my answer.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, so, you know, so I definitely got to delve a little bit deeper into that. Like, you had a question. I always defer to my beautiful wife because she got a lot of questions. That's what she does.
Well, I was actually going to tell Neil an interesting story to just piggyback off of the anecdotal stories his students had shared with him.
Okay.
Last week or week before, we were shopping at the supermarket. It was Reggie and myself. Sean and Simon were hanging out in the SUV. And a beautiful little girl, she's 12 years old. She like walked by the aisle and then she like walked all the way back and she comes up to me and she's like, "Hi." And I'm like, "Hello." All right, like, "Can I help you, sweetheart?"
Right.
The next thing she says to me is, "You have skin like mine and it's beautiful." And I just looked at her like, wow. I said, "Well, you're beautiful." I called her hermosa because hermosa means beautiful in Spanish.
Yeah, I taught her that.
No, he didn't, Neil. And we'll have a talk about how bad his Spanish is 5 years in after this show.
Yeah.
So now this young lady is literally following us around the store. She sees Reggie and she's like, "His skin is like mine too." And she's just like amazed at how our skin looks like hers. She's walking around the store with us. She's shopping. If I'm going to send Reggie to get like French fries or whatever off the shelf, she was like, "I'll go get it." And she's like my new child now, right? Or in the store. And I finally had to ask her, I said, "Where's your mother?" Like, "I'm going to end up taking you home. Where's your mom?" She says, "Oh, my mom has a taco stand across the street, but I want you to come with me to my mom's taco stand. I want to show her to you." And I said, "You want to show your mom to me?" And she thought about it and she says, "No, I want to show you to her." And I said, "Por qué?" Right? Like, I want to know why. She wants to show her mom that you can have skin like hers and be beautiful. Like, here is the walking, talking proof. I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry. So now she's following us to the truck. She's helping us pack the truck up. I introduced her to Simon. I introduced her to Sean, and she's just like, "And they have skin like me." She's 12.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And she's just like, I need you to come so that my mom can see that you can have skin like mine and be beautiful. And it was just, it's so telling because here in Mexico, they are horribly treated when they have skin like ours.
Yeah, I just real quick, just get a rundown of Neil. It's I think 31 states in Mexico, states like the United States, but there's a state over there they call Oaxaca, and it's a place where most of the dark skin,
Not most, all.
most Oaxaca and Guerrero.
They're relegated to this one place.
And these are people they're called Mexicanos.
Afro-Mexicanos. But they just started identifying themselves as such in 2020. So there's a whole story with that.
Yeah, it's
Two,
crazy.
they're relegated to Oaxaca. Do you know why?
No, please inform me.
Because it is the epicenter of all earthquakes that happen in Mexico. Ain't that some shit? The epicenter of all earthquakes.
Lousy.
So that's where they relegated them. And if somebody commits a crime or does something dishonest, the first thing they ask is, was he Oaxacan?
Yeah. So Oaxacan is it's kind of code word for the N word.
Basically.
You know, we had somebody who stole some things from our home, who was doing some work in our home, and when we got down to it, the people said, "Oh, he was a Oaxacan."
Oh, he was a Oaxacan.
And
Like,
that just mean he was just an N word.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, okay.
So
Okay,
why'd you
so
send
that's
him to my home?
That's the Mexican version of they were Oaxaca.
Yeah, it's tough out here, man. But so now I gotta ask you the real question. Come on, Director Carroll, I have to ask you this. As as being a Pan-Africanist, there's a lot of people who push back. I don't know if you're familiar with the term FBA, Foundational Black Americans, who fight back against Pan-African views where they think that they are the foundational people who built the country, and that this country is their country, and you don't have to go out into the diaspora and see what is going on. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I ran into it. I've talked with a few people, the foundational brothers and sisters that feel like that.
Yeah.
You know,
I am not
I've heard
FBA.
that before, heard some of the pushback.
So yeah, so there was
All right, there we go.
there's a little pushback against.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. He says it's a delay.
Yeah.
Can you hear us now, Neil? I know there's a little delay.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
So he's foundational Black American, and I'm West Indian. So you have these, well, I was born in the U.S., but my parents, I'm a first-generation American. My parents are from a country in South America called Guyana, which is part of the West Indies, even though it's not an island. But you have the fight against the two in that particular community when Simon and I, we just try to work together. Because technically, my sons are FBA, right? My sons are foundational Black Americans because for all intents and purposes, their mother, outside of food and, you know, making fun of my mom by utilizing her accent, that's as close as they get really to the culture of my forefathers. So we feel like it's important to put a lot of those differences aside in order to basically raise them FBA, but not be FBA snobs either.
Oh yeah, the FBA snobs, man. They're out there. They're out there. They're like Bitcoin maximalists.
Yeah.
So we try to merge this stuff, and you know, because I'm still an FBA as it is stated. But I like to let the kids get out there. And my wife is she's I don't know what she's a no man's land for the most part. But I did like the Pan-Africanist view. But as I got out here, I said, man, it's gonna be hard to do. You know, shout out to our good brother Dr. Umar Johnson, who friend of the show, who puts a lot of stuff out there about Pan-Africanism, and we like that and Pan-African knowledge. What do you think about, because you teach, Director, you teach this stuff, what is the importance of history of our African American? Because we go around and we talk about people like Patrice Lumumba Kwame Nkrumah, Haile Selassie. We can go on and on and on. Yeah. We go on and on about the people we teach. What is the importance about the history of the people and the freedom fighters who got us to this point?
Well, I think the most important look that we have to take when we see these former incredible freedom fighters is, I don't know, this might sound pessimistic, but I think we need to see the operations that were undertaken for them to make sure their view, the attempt to make sure that the view, the way that they saw things, was stomped out. And
yes,
right. So I think we need to see how these agencies and entities, how much unity that they would employ these different incredible leaders, right? From Patrice Lumumba, I'm glad you said that many government agencies they work together and on a global scale to try to snuff this man out, right? So I think it's important for us to know that the work that these freedom fighters put in, and I think we need to look at what they were trying to combat, the systems they were trying to combat, and see how those systems would always work together to snuff out that type of element. And I think that's like the number one caution that I think we need to take is that why won't we be united the same way that they will unite to snuff out that ideology? So I don't want to be pessimistic, but I think it's important that these governmental that were against incredible leaders and revolutionaries like that, they still exist today, and for us to not, where we're separating, right? Still, to me, we're using the same word. Where's the region where that's like basically the N-word, say that from one time, what's the region in Guerrero, and where's the other? In Mexico, where the Afro-Mexicano?
The Oaxaca, Costa Chica, but mostly Oaxaca. Tulum has a huge, large Black expat community.
Tulum? Okay.
Tulum.
So I think that's the employment, the same type of attitude, and probably the key put to this is those they not only Black, they're African, but they embrace humanists first, right? And these people that are humanists, also Pan-Africanists. I mean, all humans are from Africa, so everyone's African, really. I mean, if you really want to break it down to the breakdown, I think that's one of the key facts. So, dispelling the same mythology that's attacking. It seems like the attack it's all over. It's a global thing. Attacking this myth. There is something wrong with Africa. That there's something wrong with being of African descent. That there's something that makes you lesser. The more. So I think when that gets attacked back in my class, I teach that's complete mythology, right? I want them to see that there's nothing wrong with Africanism, that every human being is an African. All started on Africa and went out everywhere, right? So when I think that's the main thing, and I think those people that then turns you into a humanist, that makes you see that all humanity is together. And I think it really just starts with that education, of seeing that, and then you can start to break down the mythology, right? You stop the mythology, and then we see the wrong with Africanness. That means there's nothing wrong with darker skin. We start taking these things out. We start dealing with every human being. And I think that was the message of those people. I mean, you know, Haile Selassie with his great speech that Bob Marley did when he did War. Haile Selassie's speech, that remake of that song, his song War is a remake of a speech. These people, when you study these great revolutionaries, I think what you find out is that these people are, you know, yes, them as Pan-Africanists, and yes, they might have been, but I think in addition to improve, and especially and brown people throughout the world. And when you see that, when you on that level, it will hopefully, through education, can eliminate people feeling like that young lady, that 12-year-old girl that you talked to, that obviously felt stigmatized by the color of her skin, right? Family, and you know, when you learn about these great revolutionaries, hopefully it will lead you to that epiphany moment that we all need to have when it comes to the mythology that there's something wrong with being African. There's something wrong with being you know.
Do you want to read the comments or anything? We're going to check the comments. Director Carol, we're going to check over here the comments and see what's going on.
Cousin T. Willine said that he respects the St. Louis flag in the background. You know,
Oh
that
my
was on
goodness!
35.
Everybody, come on! You got to be careful, directors. They got eagle eyes out here. Are you a Cardinals fan? I didn't even know that. I know you a long time. You a Cardinals fan?
Those that know me when it comes to baseball, I am a St. Louis Cardinals fan in baseball. But I'm rocking my, you know, it's game day today, so FC Cincinnati's playing. So
I see. I got the
Cincinnati
FC on. Okay,
against
I
the
got
world.
that. I got that. But we looking at this Cardinals fan way back in the corner. What's up with that flag? Where the Reds
Cardinals
flag
here?
at?
Do I pan over?
Come on, director. Come on.
No, man, I ain't no Reds fan. We got. All right, don't worry, man. I got my UC Bearcat stuff up. You know, we got my MSJ stuff up. So we represent.
Okay,
represent
right,
Cincinnati.
Something's better.
I am a Cardinals fan.
Much love.
Y'all know Van Jupp.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, there's a story behind that. Can I tell a story? People want to know why am I a St. Louis Cardinals fan? So, growing up,
that is a good question.
I'm glad we got this on tape. Growing up, I was, you know, a little kid back when the Reds were beasts, right? The Red Machine. I was a Reds fan back in the day. And they got this manager by the name of, they had an owner by the name of Mark Schott.
Oh, that's like
incredible woman. She used to say, I'm gonna go pay my $1 million N-words, and she used to talk real crazy. Completely made me say, I can't root for a team like that, right? So with most things in my life, it is based on like fight for justice and just having to feel the right way. Like I can't root for a team where the owner is walking around calling us N-words and, you know, deprecating us like that. So I couldn't do it. I turned on the television early 80s maybe, and myself, it's in the 80s, and I didn't screen, and I saw every single person that was on the field for those St. Louis Cardinals back then. They were black or brown, right? The pitcher, Joaquin Andujar, or, you know, a gentleman from Latin American gentleman, the catcher, Payne, and then all the positions like black and brown. And I don't think I've ever seen that before.
You talking about Ozzie Smith?
So I put the Reds down. Yeah, back in those days when they had Ozzie Smith, Lonnie Smith, they had like Willie McGee. They fielded a whole team, and it was like Terry Pendleton. They had all of these guys, and it was like all 9 positions were filled with black or brown. So for those that I had that same epiphany. I kind of had that same epiphany when a young woman that you saw in the grocery store that day. That's the same thing. I thought my home team is walking around, the owners walking around calling us N-words and different crazy stuff. And I turn it on television and I look and I see a team that has 9 members that are black or brown. I set the Reds down, and I've been a St. Louis Cardinals fan ever since. That's the story.
And you know, and that's awesome, man. You know, I've been a Reds fan a long time, but I always respected the Cardinals because it was a big rivalry, and you know, I always respected the Albert Pujols, and so like when he got his 700 home run, you know, it was salute to Albert Pujols. And, even though I hated him because he tore the Reds up all the time, I said,
Yeah, 100 greats. I love him.
but I said salute to Albert Pujols for getting 700 home runs, and they didn't really beat him up on steroids like they beat everybody else up. So yeah, salute to Albert Pujols. I don't know where he's at now. Where he at now? I don't know. It's Albert Pujols.
Well, I'm sure he's sitting somewhere living the honest life. I'm sure it's going well for him. My guy, love you, one of my favorite players of all time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So did you have a question? When you got a question, I don't want to interrupt your question when I got more questions. Okay, so I got more questions. So like we'll still keep on this Pan-Africanist, black and brown situation. So if you see in the situation that you want the black and brown to work, but you see that it may not work globally, does that bother you, or is there something where you're like, well, I need to make a change because this isn't really working like I thought it would?
That's a great question. We often, some of my inner circle, we have these questions, right? We had these questions that we try to answer, just about the different ways that this thing manifests, and it's all cultural. It's culturally based, right? So where you're raised at is going to have, your culture is going to have a huge impact on this whole thing. Because honestly, I have many students that are in my program, not from this continent, right? They don't live in the continent. You're not going to call them the thing that's kind of made here in the States. You understand what I'm saying? They wouldn't say like, I'm black. Like that's relatively new. That's within the last couple hundred years. They've been identifying themselves as Ethiopian, or they've been identifying themselves as Persian, or they've been identifying themselves as Ghanaian. They're going to talk about who posts up, I'm black or white. That's really just kind of like a thing that we came up here. Definitely, I'd say in what we in North America, South America, Central America, where the privilege is going to be placed, right? And it's gone global, of course. So a lot of those people that I talk to, they just kind of reject the whole blackness thing. Like, that's the thing. I'm Ethiopian. I'm Eritrean. I'm, whatever the case may be. I'm that. You don't lump me in and say I'm black or I'm white. And they kind of take offense to that. And they also take offense to the fact that most African Americans take offense to that position, right? We've been so conditioned to say I'm white that we take offense when they position that they've been taking for centuries. That no, I'm Eritrean, I'm Ghanaian, I'm from Mali, I'm whatever the case may be, whatever ethnicity it's on to. They don't have the same buy-in of like it's just cultural thing that I don't think we can look at this and just wrap the whole black and brown, black and white thing around everyone globally. So that is one of those things with Pan-Africanism that's rough, that's harder, because it's an ethnic thing. It's a cultural thing that you might feel it one way here, and it might be felt completely different if you grew up, in the Caribbean, right? And your lovely wife could probably speak to that. Like, we have to stop seeing things only through our eyes. Like, we just American and Black Americans, where it's important, it's a different globally, through an individual cultural experience, like their perspective from how they see things, how the culture is set up. But it all comes with education, respect, and seeing things differently, allowing yourself to have empathy and seeing it through another lens.
No, most definitely. That's dope. I'm gonna have my beautiful wife. If she want to check comments or anything, if the comments, other comments is great.
Neil, the cousins are worried about your internet connection. We've been having it's a little choppy, and there's a delay, so they're worried. They think you're in a village in South America instead of in Cincinnati with fiber optics.
Yeah, we gotta watch our channel, man. They try to get it.
They get on us all the time.
I'm sorry.
But yes, America too has technological difficulties.
Okay, I'll try to switch my and get it better. Because y'all, I'm looking at it, so y'all on. So I'm gonna take a look. Let me see if I can let me play with it for a minute, see if I can come up with anything. See what I can come up with. Let's see.
Maybe if you just refresh it, it might refresh. While we do have the majority of the cousins on, and Neil's working.
Got some great answers though, yo.
Well, we got questions? I didn't know.
No.
Oh man, they said I'm having AOL flashbacks.
Yeah, he can read it.
I was like, yo, they try to get out.
That's cousin.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Let's see if I can come over here.
I'm tripping, man. It's Saturday, man. It's a good day. Happy Mother's Day weekend. My beautiful queen mother.
Oh, thank you.
Happy Mother's Day, 4 boys. She may have a son husband.
She does not have a son husband. She is married. He'll be back.
That's another show, though.
No, she doesn't.
That's another show they got.
It's just that he don't huff and puff when I ask him to do stuff. He said it's all fun. He's coming back. He's trying to like refresh it, restart his restart the router.
He's trying to put the coat hanger in the back.
He got to take the CD out and put the CD back in because of T-Will line. You remember that CD?
Oh man, that CD sent you in the mail.
Yeah, he got to take it out and put it back in.
Come on, man. It's 2024. Come on, director. Carol.
He'll be back. But we do want to wish you guys a great Mother's Day weekend. While we have all of the cousins in the room, hubby's going to remind y'all, be stacking. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see you guys in here who are Black. Thank you for being here, cousin. T-Will line, thank you for being here, cousin. Much respect, man. Much love that you guys are here.
And cousin Rue slipped in the room too, so always shout out to cousin Ruel. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody. I mean, I seen Crypto Work was in here, so shout out to her. You know, step your Hot Wheel game up.
She done sold hers for profit, so you just stop it. But go ahead and give them their reminders.
What's the reminders?
Be stacking.
Everybody stacking. Be stacking over the holiday weekend. Stack for your mother. For build it up, build the stack up. That's what we're gonna do. We can build the stack up. That's what we do. We were talking to a good friend of ours, director Neil J. Carroll, and we were talking about a lot of things. We were kind of right there. We were going off of the Pan-Africanist and just understanding that when you go to different countries, you may have that vision, like I'm a Pan-Africanist, but you have to go and you have to see, you have to deal with it because people visualize, people see you different. You're from America, you're not what they are, so you got to kind of keep that in mind as you try to do your Pan-African journey. And if you are an FBA, then you have a different journey about your country as you move around the world. So that's what we were just talking about to Director Carol about.
One of the things we didn't even get to talk to him about is when we travel to these other countries and we see other Black people, they don't speak. Mm-hmm. You say hi, you can wave, it could be a family of 6 all going like this. That Black person gonna look at y'all and keep going about their way, right? They are infamous for doing that in Mexico City. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know what's going on with y'all, right? And I'm talking to the people who do this when they travel. When you see somebody who looks like you in countries that are predominantly not looking like you, say hello, right? If somebody's saying hello to you, just say hello back. You don't have to have a conversation with them. But we would be in Mexico City 6 deep, like the Wu-Tang Clan. And those people will walk right past us. They won't speak, they don't smile. And don't be in a relationship with a different culture and you hanging out in Mexico City and we say hello. They'll turn their face up at you, make like little side eye, like, little rude things like that.
And I can't lie. Can't lie. I mean, they will do that, and it's mostly.
But they always do it.
It's mostly gonna be women. No disrespect.
No, the men do it too.
They do it too, but the women, the women gonna give it to you. The women out here running around with these white guys in Mexico City, and you try to say hello to
You
them.
try to say hello, and it's just like, who are you talking to? Bitch, I'm talking to you. Hello, good day, lady. Right? Like, don't act like that when you're traveling and you see other Black people, and we don't know what that's about. We went to El Salvador. We saw these 2 Black people, and they just looked at us and were like,
Were you
and just kept going, right? Even, I don't know where they were from or what language they spoke. Just, hi, right, hello. And I didn't get to talk to Neil about that. Hopefully he does come back on. I ain't gonna bring it up because I already have
Yeah,
my
and
rant.
I mean, and my wife is a beautiful woman, so it's like, yeah, I want to talk to her.
You
Right?
want to talk to me, but them people don't.
No, but somebody, I seen
Them
like
people don't.
if I seen a beautiful woman waving at me, I say, hey, what's up? What's up? What up? What up? They don't even do that.
He said maybe because there's so many people. But they're children. Let freedom reign. They're children who are excited to see you in this country. And they're the ones who say, hell, it's so bad that our kids play a game. Typically, they see around 10 Black people a day when they're in Mexico City. So they keep tabs. Whoever gets the most Black people to say hello, they win. That's how bad it is, right? And you got 10. Typically, the winner always wins like at 2, or I had 3 people wave back.
And the winner usually is Junior. If you've seen Junior,
Junior's typically the winner because he's going to make you say hello.
yeah, Junior, he's outgoing.
He's backstage, okay. There we go.
Backstage.
He's in the waiting room is what he's saying.
Hey, that boy
All right, he's back though.
He ready to jump in.
So thank you for coming back.
He ready to jump back. He's backstage. Sorry, we held it down.
But yeah,
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, we held it down.
Yeah, I just called AOL. I just got my dial-up back correct.
G. Willine said that.
I gotta look at that. Yeah. That's the chat, man. The chat's cool, but they crazy. Like,
Yeah, they cool, but they crazy.
But,
Yeah.
I forget where we was at.
We were talking about Black people traveling and not saying hello to other Black people as they travel.
But I did have a question for Director Carol, because I know that we had spoke earlier on in the show about the accolades of his daughter.
Jade. Mm-hmm.
So I just wonder, like, how do you, as a father, how is it that you I don't want to say deal with it. I'm looking for the wrong term. Put her out into the world right now. You said she's a junior in college. Just finished her 3rd year, so she's obviously going to be a senior next year. And how do you feel about having her going out into the world? This crazy world we live in.
Great question, man. Probably like every other parent, you guys are parents. You have to just control the controllables, right? I don't want to sound like a self-help person, but it's true. Real talk. You just have to control the controllables, and you have to have faith in everything that you've done, everything that's been poured into you, that you poured into your child, the power of the village, the power of those that have surrounded her, and that give her and present to her that continual love and support. So because I know that that's what has been done with me, that's what I've done. She sees what it's like to do well. She sees what it's like when things are not going that good. Like, that's part of life. That one thing we can guarantee you about life is that it's gonna smack the hell out of you, right? It's gonna put you on your back sometimes. But the key is to have that resilience. She's seen that in myself. She's seen that in the elders, from my mother, that, you just get back up, you got it. You got enough in you. You put enough in you. You're gonna be fine, right? So then you just have to trust that. Right? And I feel like I've done the job. The people before me, the elders that poured into me, I try to pour into my child. She feels, number one, that continual love and respect. You know, we got her, and you just have to really kind of let the rope go with knowledge that you've done all that you can. You're a counselor now. Now you just got to kind of sit back and watch everything that you've done, see how it plays out.
Yes,
and I'm optimistic, confident.
And I want you to also, if you can, emphasize that, because you are a father who raised a child to adult age, and just how important that is that the father is there. You know, we could talk about different things, but it's a father for a daughter, right? So that is very important that you were there all the time, every day, and just can you emphasize how important that is?
No doubt, right? I could see it from both sides of the coin. You know, statistically, everything tells you that I'm not going to be in the positions that I am. My father wasn't present in my life, and my mom, they didn't get along. They split up, and before I was one, and so I didn't really have my pops in my life growing up at all. And there's no doubt it's a complete difference, right? It's the security level that you feel. I know financially when it came to different things, you know, there's just a huge impact on a young man or a young woman that does not have both parents present, right? I know what it's like. I grew up in a house where both parents were not present. The great thing about me, about the mother that I had, she never walked around saying to me, "Hey, women don't need a man, man don't need a woman, we don't need all that." She never talked to us like that. She let me know, son, this is not the right way. The right way is to do it when we're together and married. That's how you want to do it. You are building a power base when you're married and you and your wife stay together, right? That is the right way. She made sure I tuned in to my uncle, who is married to my incredible, I'm talking about Gay Carol, I'm talking about Lil John, I'm talking about Lil John, my Aunt Pat, and my Uncle John. She told me the pattern my relationships after dinner. And they were married for over 50 years. Yes. And, you know, God bless her soul. I'm thinking about her so much right now. My Aunt Pat just recently passed away as well as my mom. So the two probably most influential women in my life will be my mother and my Aunt Pat. And my mother made sure to inform me that the way it was going down in our house, even though it was her, that was not the right way. The right way to raise a child and to form a family is with a man and a woman present, together, married, right? So she wanted me to make sure that I used my uncle and my aunt as a model, which I did. And I think it's key. It's the development that you have, the inner confidence that you have, those different things like that. The ability to navigate healthy and unhealthy relationships, I think, starts with that, seeing your mother and your father and how they interact, and having a man present, despite anything they might tell you, any surveys or studies that they say that a man is not critical. I completely disagree. For you to be whole and shaped correctly, bring on to the things that are positive, having a woman and a man in the household. And I can get some pushback from different people, but you know, push if necessary. I think it's key, and I've been blessed. I've been blessed that my daughter's been blessed that she's been able to be raised in a household that she does have both parents present and on deck, right? And I don't mean just present in where I'm here at the house. I mean present, being present in her life, showing up when I should show up at all times, and having her total support. That does something for a person. That does something for a child to know that my parents have me, and then it gives them great models to see how it should go down.
That's very, I mean, and that's very impactful because I have children and I understand what you're saying. I have children around, maybe same age as Dave, stuff like that. And you're proud of them, man. You just see them, you're proud of them. It makes you sit and think back, like, dang, I remember when you was a little baby. Now you grown and you take care of stuff. And you just look at them, you're like, wow. So you're very impressed by them. I'm very impressed by my children because they take it I don't know how to really explain it. They do what they do, and I'm like, man, this is real. So I've seen her. When we talked about it, the Black Student Union she had that, and I seen the picture that she had posted, and I said, man, that's real, man, that's real. And she goes to Mount St. Joseph. I went to Mount St. Joseph, so respect. I played on the first men's basketball team.
That's what's up. Mount St.
There,
Joseph.
sir, Mr. Carroll.
All right.
Carroll, we gotta go there. So,
Mount up.
Mount
up, baby.
I don't. My wife, she had to go do something. But so let's have some fun. So we used to play basketball coming up, right? Director Carroll. And,
yes, we did.
And then it got to a point when I got about, I don't know, a certain age, 14, 15, 16, and I started cooking. So tell the stories about.
Whoa. Wow. Man. If that's cooking, man, I know some people's ovens ain't cooked. They ain't set to a high degree. There's been a lot of uncooking, but if y'all was cooking me, then man, y'all stove was broke.
Oh man. Yeah, man. Y'all was playing dirty ball, man. I ain't gonna lie. You and Chris, y'all was pushing people around and bullying. Y'all was playing bully ball, but that's okay.
Just getting y'all ready. That's why you was dominating MSJ, man. You thank me later, man. You thank me later.
They was playing bully ball, pushing us around though. That was the homie note. I'm sorry, director. She's back. We'll get back on track.
Hey, some of the best times of my life. I ain't gonna lie, man. Those sessions, playing ball, fire station, going at each other hard. I'm always talking to my daughter about this, like, yo, not only did most of the young gentlemen and some young ladies in my neighborhood, I felt like we just excelled in all areas, just from athletics to academics to entrepreneurship to great careers. Yep. And I'm going to be honest, I felt like some of that did have to do with that everyday competition, iron sharpening iron, going up against great competition, never backing down, being who you are, right? And making people accept and respect that. So I think that those, we laughing about it. We used to go at each other hard, and we did go at y'all hard. Y'all a little younger than us. We wanted to make sure that y'all weren't soft, that y'all did it the right way, just like the cats, Rico and all of those other guys in our neighborhood. Great athletes, Gab. Casanova White, Gabby, those guys used to go at us super hard to make sure that we were representing right, and we were going to be okay as we moved on. Kind of the same thing with your children.
Yeah, you guys did a great job of that. As a sidebar, man, Brent Bedgood, he crossed me down one time, man. That's just, you understand what I'm talking about. And I said, damn, this dude. It's a grown man, like he's like 35 or something. I don't know how old he is, but I got to get back on track. Come on, Aaron, get me on back on track.
Rebecca was a beast, and one of my Aiken. He's not only a Mount Healthy alum, Aiken alum. Well, we've been doing work, and him and my daughter. You know how things go full circle. His daughter, and my daughter both played together at Mount St. Joseph for the first couple of years. I love poetry. Bedgood, great young lady, love her. She went on overseas, and she's been playing overseas. Just dynamic player, beast like her father was. Love that young lady as well. So it's crazy how things go full circle.
Yeah, man. Mount Healthy, man, very small space that it created a lot of people, man. A lot of people doing a lot of good things, man. So I always love Mount Healthy, the heritage. I shout it out, man, across the world. And then, I shout out Cincinnati. Everywhere I go, I got my Bearcat stuff on. Definitely going to shout out that. I wish I could get some Aiken gear. It's probably hard to get to Mexico, but shout out Aiken, Cincinnati Public Schools. and things like that, man, and the stuff that you do.
We'll
And
shoot it to you. We'll get
yeah,
it
tell
there.
me so you know, I know that you do a lot, and I'm really intrigued by that curriculum you have. But this history that you say, and I wanted to get back to that. How important is that to go back to the history, even if it's the history in the United States or if it's history globally? Like if you have to see different global leaders, or if you're just seeing what people do locally in your community, and there's a history to that. Is we need to know our history, right?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, to me, it's probably my mother. I know I probably said that a trillion times, but she was the most dynamic, most powerful person I've ever met. You met her, you know what she was like. I'm sure you can understand it. Nobody moved like her in my life. She made me uh, a an advocate and just a aficionado of knowledge, gaining knowledge and learning history. She was a historian, right? She is
Yeah,
always big on our family history. She was always big on us knowing history because she understood that the people that mastered history, that knew history, would be able to see the pitfalls as well as the victories that happened before us, right? You can see the different contexts. The more you read, the more history you know. You'll see the pitfalls as well as the victories. And then it gives you the ability to navigate yourself as well as your family much better. You can navigate them towards success much easier when you know the things that happened in your history that led to downfalls, or the things in your history in the past that have led to victories. And you can see these different patterns as they emerge. And she wanted us to be able to see a macro as well as micro, right? She wanted to see it on the global scale. How did these countries move? What was the
yeah,
ideology of these countries and the leadership there? How did that impact on a smaller level, on the micro? How did that impact this group, this ethnic group? How did we see these things? You know, how did the dogma, the religion, these different things, how did the political structure, how did it affect those people? And then she always said, you just don't want to know history to know history. You want to know history so you know how to navigate, right? So you can put your family, yourself into positions to be prosperous, right? So I talk to my students about that. The people that know and understand history, how people move, the different socioeconomic, political connections, things of that nature, nation building, nation maintenance, all of these
yeah,
different things, and you can see patterns happen. You master that in the past, the history, and it allows you to be more focused in the present and to gain a really good foothold in the present. And then it allows you to set up your legacy so that the future is taken care of. You know, so I think it's everything. I think it's important. It's an important piece. And the people that discard history, like I was just some old, you know, people from thousands of years ago, you know, I fear for those people, right?
yeah.
And
You're
I
right, man. Like I
fear
said,
for
I
people like
homeschool the
that.
kids, man, and history is one of the toughest subjects that I have to deal with because in my mind, you know, I'm always gonna hit them with Black history, but you know, sometimes you got to hit them with the other history, right? You know, the history of
Absolutely.
the others, you know, just to understand how it intertwines with Black history, right? And
Correct.
so then you over here you're teaching this other history. You know, I ain't gonna say no bad name about it, and it helps you understand this type of history. But what I want to ask you, as you know, man to man, like we are right now, as you spoke very eloquently about your great mother, that us, you know, both of us who we don't have our mothers here on this Mother's Day weekend, but we still want to put that message out about what our mothers taught us and poured into us, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying right now, and it's great. It's very great, man. It's very great. Because I'll just take a second to stand by and say about your mother, because I knew your mother. You know, I was a child. You know, she was one of the people who's out there. She was like, she was she was regulating us. Like, hey, what y'all doing? Yeah, this street. We doing. She was
Yes.
regulating. And so,
Nickname the
uh,
warden. People knew. in the neighborhood, nicknamed the warden. She was gonna stay involved.
Yeah, she was regulating us, man. And I got in trouble one time because we made a prank call to her house about Lil Jon, and she came over here and she said, "I know that was y'all calling." I'm sorry, I'm getting off. You know what I'm talking about. She regulated that.
Yeah,
So I remember them days. I remember them days, man. But
yeah, she stayed involved, man. She stayed involved.
yeah, she was involved. She knew what was going on outside. When we was going
Yeah.
outside, my homeboy Jason, man. So I was over there with Jason, and we was messing around. But yeah, man, your mom she was a great one, man. She's a great one for the community, and we talk a lot about building community, and that's what we have to do. And if you don't mind, I mean, I love Neil, I love you. Um, Hold on, man. I'm sorry. Let me get this calendar up real quick. But we're gonna do a show. Okay, we do a show every year on oh, thank you. On May 21st, we do Malcolm X Day show. That's our Malcolm X Day, right? May 21st. And so we would love to have you back for Malcolm X Day if you were available. Malcolm X Day is big here. We always we do different things and our homeschool with different days. Fred Heaven today, like I told you, Patrice Lumumba, all these other people, Malcolm X. Yeah, we talk about community though. When we get a Malcolm X Day, it's community, right? We can't be in the community. I mean, we love the heritage; it brought us up, but I can't be. You are where you are. I'm over here in Mexico, but we can have a digital community, right?
Without a
We
doubt.
can link up. And Malcolm X Day is coming up. If you're free, we want to do Malcolm X Day with you, my brother, my good brother, man. You raised me up. You did a lot for me. And I really appreciate everything that you did for me, especially as the big homie Pete. Pete, we gonna get Pete out here too. You guys, man, you guys helped me out, man. You guys helped me out a lot, and and so it's to me, man. I don't, and I'm a shed a tear. No, I'm joking. But yeah, you guys is the OGs, man. So what's up, OG director Carol? Tell us something, man. Tell us something. What you gonna tell us?
Hey, I'm all for it. Like, if we're gonna do Malcolm X Day, that was probably one of those heroes that I had growing up, reading about him. So I'm all for that. So I'm excited. I'm amped up that that you want to include me in this, and everything. I'm so immensely proud of the way that you are moving with your wife and your family. And you talked about my daughter a lot, but I just want to say I'm so proud of what your kids are doing, the way that they move. We talked about this off air and off camera, how you're getting to the point now where you could just kind of sit back and relax off the fruit of your labor, right? Kind of what we talked about before, like how do I go with Jay? I'm like, hey, I feel like I've done what I'm supposed to do up to this point. And of course, I'm
Yes.
always there, but I feel like you are enjoying it. You're getting to enjoy those blessings of everything that you poured into your kids, where, man, they got you, right? They know they're moving the right way. Your son, that's an educator. I'm tipping my cap to that. Anybody that takes that on. So I'm so incredibly impressed with the way that you're moving, with your incredibly lovely family and wife. I love how y'all moving, right? I just love the way you're moving. You're moving so powerfully, and you're here to try to empower others. So that's what it's all about. And I just got to tip my cap, man. Everything that I did for you, man, hey, you're doing way more for me just seeing how you move and how you and your family have been not only incredibly blessed, but blessing everybody else around you, which I think is the message, mama.
Oh, glad
thank
for
you.
you.
Yeah,
I'm glad for
yeah,
you. You happy for
yes,
yourself.
yes.
You're not supposed to clap for
When
yourself.
she clap, I clap.
Platform.
Community,
Platform.
community building,
I
right?
clap.
That's what y'all doing, and it's beautiful to behold. Yeah, so I had to get
Well,
that off
thank
my
you.
chest.
I always want people to be proud of my baby. He is so good to me, y'all. Y'all know the podcast know, because I talk
Yeah,
him up one way and down the other with how much he changed my life
that's what's
as his
up.
wife, and I am the woman I am because of the man that he is. So I always give him his flowers.
Oh yeah, and you know when you grab somebody up from New York City,
Don't
man,
listen to him, y'all.
you
You see,
gotta-
that's
you
why
gotta
y'all should
do
get on
it.
him in the chat.
yeah, get on the chat, man.
Cousins in the chat. Let him know how good he got it with his woman next to him all the time like a Barbie doll.
Cousins in the chat, let me know how it is to deal with a woman from New York City.
It is delightful.
Director
Welcome to
Carol,
New York City.
this woman,
Delightful.
Director Carol, I know you know the game.
I'm a delight.
Hold on, she's from Left Rack City.
Oh, okay. Queens in
No,
the
she's not.
Queens in the building.
Neil,
you're not?
Neil,
Queens in the
Neil.
building. Oh,
I was
do I gotta
born
put
in
on my
Left
Capone and
Rack.
Noriega? Do I gotta put my CNN on?
No. I grew up on
What?
Long Island. I grew up on Long Island.
She
Oh,
tried to
okay.
get snobbish about it,
Oh,
but
Yes,
Stone
she does.
Island. I'm
she was
sorry.
born
I'm
on
sorry.
she was born on
I
the
was born
Percocet
in
side.
81. I
Okay.
was on Long Island by 83. So
Okay.
from
Long Island.
83
Okay.
to 99, I was on Long Island.
Sir, she was in the
Long
same
Island.
building
Okay.
at
So we
North.
talking about Chuck D and Rakim. Do I need to play that? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Rakim was
Long
in
Island.
Suffolk County. I was in Nassau County. It's a little bit better.
She was in that same building
My
when
parts.
Nori was selling drugs.
He said, them New York women are a time and a half. Cousin Rue, bite your tongue. We are a delight. We are absolute delight. Let me tell you that now, okay? We are like a cup full of sunshine, okay? He's
No
living his
doubt.
best life with his New York woman.
One thing I can say, this
It
is
took a while.
real talk, man. Shout out to my homeboys from New York City that I'm down with. Where my man Stakes. So if you ever watch this, my homeboy Stakes. It's just something about New Yorkers, man, that I love about y'all. When y'all come in, y'all feel like y'all run the planet, right? I love that about y'all. That
We
New
run
York
everything.
state of mind, it's a real thing. I love it. It's like
I did have to make a lot of
New York
changes,
on
Neil,
the heritage.
though. I did. I had to make a lot of changes, though, like on some realness, mindset-wise. I made a lot of changes so that I could be the best woman for my husband, even if that means leaving that New York state of mind behind. I have made.
41st side.
Stop it. But
That's a 41st.
but you know what's funny? Why he talk all that junk, Neil? His
Yes,
best friend
yes.
in the military is from the Bronx. His woman
Okay.
is from Long Island.
Yes.
Right? You are surrounded. Your closest people are from the NY. Do or die. Okay? So
No
stop
doubt.
it.
Yeah, but we got to level set you
He
guys.
love us. You ain't got to level set nothing. We level set y'all in the natty. He said, Aaron, just rebuke the devil. You know city women are a headache.
I do.
I am a
I love
delight.
New Yorkers. My New Yorkers in my family. I got family that's from New York. And they just got a
So
whole
then you
different
know
mind.
we a delight.
I love it. I like the way y'all move. Hey, Gordon, real talk. Cats from New York is like they grew up in the heritage, right? Like they got that same type of we got it attitude, right? We got
But
that.
Neil,
Yeah,
you
but-
know what though? He can take me to a 5-star restaurant and I can be his graceful Barbie doll. Or we could sit in the car. I know every bar, every line, every song, album cuts.
So let me
That's what's
tell you
up.
this. Let me tell you this. I'm gonna tell the story to director.
He about to
Director
tell you
Carol.
something that he gonna exaggerate and leave stuff out. Go ahead.
I bet you
I
can.
bet you are.
I bet you
Go ahead.
I bet you gonna co-sign it.
Go ahead. Okay, maybe I'll co-sign. Let me see.
So so I'm coming through on a trip to Maryland, the DMV area to her family, and pull up. I got my nice Cadillac. Man.
Oh.
It's crispy.
This
boy.
is a true story.
It's crispy. You already know. He's shaking his head. You already know.
It's a true
Yes, sir.
story.
And then, I'm trying to meet her family and see what's up. Then one of her cousins like, yo, let me drive your car. I'm like, what? I said, what are you talking? She's like, nah, that's just how New Yorkers be. I said, because I'll knock this ninja out. I'm not going to use the word.
I'm like this ninja.
What you mean, let me drive your car? Like, he just came at me like, can I drive your
In his defense,
Like, let me drive your
Neil,
car.
in his defense, he grew up in Harlem on Convent, and then they moved to Guy Brewer. So he didn't know.
And he was a big dude, like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, I love him, though.
So he think like, what?
He's
He
one
say,
of my
what?
favorite cousins.
He
what?
gonna try you
I want
on.
you to say what?
He gonna test you out. Like, man,
Yeah.
what's up, man?
You know what's
Come
funny,
get that ride.
Neil? When I saw him, right? When I saw him come out the house to greet us, I said, "Oh, you should have gave Simon the briefing, right?" I was like, "Oh."
No, I wasn't giving a briefing.
I know he wasn't giving it, but when I saw him, I was like, "Oh boy." it's too late now to like cover all of the ground that I need to cover. And even if I
That
say you
cousin.
from Harlem, just go with it, you wouldn't have got it then.
No, I'm not
You
gonna
wouldn't
go with
have got it
nothing.
then.
No, you do not ask a man, can you drive his car? Let me,
No.
hey, let me drive your car. What?
No.
You already know, like
Yeah,
you
no,
already
no.
know. Come on, you already know.
No.
Now, wait, I have to address one of my favorite cousins in the chat.
Who's that?
Okay. You Detroit people, you need to stop with the pizza. Okay, I just want y'all to stop it. Just stop it right now with y'all terrible pizza. Okay? Everybody in the entire world, there are children in Gangzhou that know that New York pizza is better than Detroit pizza. So I just want you to stop it, cousin. Just let it go. Just let this cup pass from you. We got the best pizza. We got the best Chinese food. What else we got?
Director Carol, sometimes these shows get off the rails sometimes.
It's all good. That's all good. That's
Saturday to
needed.
get off the rails.
Yeah, it get off the
It's all
rails.
good. That's how it should be.
Talk about they nasty pizza from they city. That's why I get off the rails. But they our favorite cousins though.
Yeah,
They just
yeah.
don't. They don't know.
Yeah, man, and what we're saying is, I want you to be on that Malcolm X show about community because you
Yeah,
have
we do
to,
a Malcolm X Day every year.
yeah, so you have to build a digital community like
And
this
we were
guy
doing
like
a
this.
Patrice Lumumba one that we didn't do it this year.
Yeah, Patrice Lumumba, we get on him. Fred Hampton Senior.
Fred Hampton Senior.
Fred Hampton Senior. So
we do it for the boys. We remember to do it for the boys, but sometimes we forget to bake it in the content. But Neil,
Yes,
Simon
ma'am.
and I would like to contribute our time, our expertise,
Yeah, if we have
and we do like because Simon homeschools the children, right? And he homeschools them to a collegiate level.
yeah, so we go hard.
So if there's a way we can virtually volunteer our time, we're willing to do however many hours a week you need or however many hours a month you need. We would like to volunteer the time to get the kids up to par with budgeting, household finances, investing, understanding the difference between saving in a savings account and actually saving some money, right? Talking to them about assets and understanding the different assets, whatever we can do to help supplement what may not be prioritized
Yeah.
in the curriculum. We would like to volunteer that time. If you could figure out a way to, even if it's an after school kind of thing or on a weekend kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll show up.
Okay,
Yeah.
you got my wheels
Whatever you
turning
need.
right now. You got my
Yeah.
wheels turning. I'm thinking where I would love to, maybe we need to work on it this summer, where I would love to have y'all like every, 2 weeks or whatever the case
We're
may
there.
be. My class knows that today we're going to have
there.
we're going to have our financial literacy training on this day. And it's going to be the Simon Money team. And they know that we're going to jump in and live from Mexico.
Right.
And we get in digitally, whether we zoom in and you guys can kind of, hold shop, building that digital community. You guys can kind of hold shop. I think I'm going to put that in. Maybe we can talk about it over the summer where we can make it part of the curriculum where they know on a certain day, we're going to talk about financial literacy.
And since you said your students are STEM, was that my understanding?
We're actually not a STEM, we're a tech school. So it all lines up. I'm sure I'll get the sign off that's necessary.
Okay.
And the great things about the position I'm in, I was able to design my whole curriculum myself. I don't have a lot of oversight from the state. And I built it with one of my homegirls from the Heritage, the incredible Dr. Tammy Brown, who is an incredible author, scholar, Harvard educated, PhD from Princeton, and she is from the Heritage, from my neighborhood.
Yes, it did. Say that Heritage.
Yeah.
Cats don't know the Heritage, man.
Yes. We put that curriculum together for our students.
Like left, right.
We live in the suburbs.
We lived in the suburbs.
suburbs.
Okay, it's like Jamaica.
So Jamaica.
Yeah. My family. It's funny you said that. My family, my family in New York. They're from Jamaica, Queens, and it's very similar. You said our neighborhood when she used to come out. Yeah, she used to say it was very similar in Jamaica, Queens. That our neighborhoods were very similar.
That's interesting. So the heritage is like Jamaica, huh? Oh boy, you about to get it when we get off the show.
Why?
Yeah,
I grew up in Jamaica, Queens. I know that if the heritage is like Jamaica, Queens, you don't have room
That's what 50
for
Cent
left,
from.
right. Yeah, that's where 50 from. That should tell you a lot.
Wow, 50 is he's a hyper successful individual.
Yeah, he doesn't live in Jamaica, Queens anymore.
Yeah, he got smart.
But
Oh,
I
look
want to
at him.
shout out Pete's wife. Hello, sweetheart. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's Pete's wife.
So, hold on,
Oh,
how can you see the handles
what's
like
up,
that?
Her
sis?
name is Denisha Yvonne Johnson. That is Pete's wife.
Oh, hello, hello,
That's
Mrs.
sis for
Johnson.
me.
Hello, Mrs. Johnson.
I'm
I know
sorry.
your name.
I'm sorry.
I met you once at a wedding, but I know your name. And
Yes,
then my
yes.
girl Courtney's on there. Hi,
Oh, shout out to
sweetheart.
Courtney. Yeah, shout out to Courtney.
Cousin T. Willine, I saw your little pizza comment. He said New York pizza is reheated. When he got there, he saw cold pizza on display. So you know Rue and him about y'all trying to like jump on me now. I'm gonna get y'all. Don't worry. When y'all come to Mexico City, I'm gonna get y'all.
Yeah, see, man, it's chat. You know, this chat room because we gotta get back and forth.
Those
with
are our
this guy.
cousins, though. So you know we
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
roast each other. It's all love. We love each other very much.
Always.
Everybody on the show's a cousin Neil. You have just been adopted, right, into the family. So now you cousin Neil. So when I talk to you now, you just know you cousin Neil, and we really appreciate one. I talk about nation building all the time because when I met my husband and we were pregnant with Sean, it was on his heart that he wanted to consciously parent, right? We didn't want to parent like, no shade to our parents, they just did what they knew to do, right?
Right.
But he wanted to parent on a more conscious level so that we can break generational curses, we can bring down the generational blessings or at least emphasize them, and so on and so forth. And what you're doing in the community for those who don't have that generational curse breaker in their family, you are giving them and empowering them the ability to do those things. You're giving them vision, right? We talk about vision all the time on the show. You're giving them clarity. You're showing them what their options are. And you didn't have to do that, right? Your journey from being a successful salesman to the desire to give back somehow and become an educator is incredible. And I know we've given you your flowers. We want to give you your flowers
Yes,
again. And we
indeed.
want to say
Much
thank you,
appreciated.
Black man, for caring about your community, for caring about the kids, for caring about the children, for bringing up a beautiful daughter who is literally walking in your footsteps.
Yeah.
And I applaud her for that event that she put together. I thought that was beautiful. And how you know, as a father, how you framed everything she did and how proud you were of her accomplishments. But as cousins, we are proud of her too. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for your time here on the show. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us.
Yeah, there we go.
And we
Blessed to be.
appreciate
Yeah,
Yeah,
blessed
yeah.
to be. Hey, I appreciate y'all taking time out to put me into y'all space. Hey, I love and cherish y'all. Cherish the friendship that we have. No, cherish the family that we are.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
it's
so much.
yeah. So we're gonna we'll show back up, I guess, on Monday.
Yes, on Monday,
up?
you guys get ready because I think it was Cousin T. Willine who wanted to be more interactive on the show. We are going to have 10 spots available where you guys can join us right here. You can actually talk to us. You can talk to the cousins in the line, no trolling. We're going to test try that and see if that's something we can bake into the show once a week, where we can have what I would like to call a family reunion, and the cousins can know that they can come on camera and actually interact with the topic or the discussion for the day.
Yeah.
You guys can share your anecdotal experiences, your expertise, whatever it is you guys want to talk about. So Monday will be the family reunion. If
And-
you do want to participate in this, though, you will have to turn your camera on,
Yeah,
right? So that's the
Cam up,
only,
y'all.
yes, that's
Cam
the
up.
only condition.
Cam up. Director Carol knows. Get an edge up, man. Get your edge up. I mean, you know, I'm deep in the corners, but I still got an edge up.
Yeah.
Get your edge up, man. Look good.
Because
You know,
people are
man.
watching on YouTube and the shows are a lot better when we can see you
Yeah,
and kind of see your body language, the interactions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get to talk to some cousins at the family reunion on Monday.
Yeah,
Cousin Rue, I hope you're there.
Cousin Ruth,
I definitely want you to be online with us.
we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna sign off. Director Carol, if you stay with us, we'll talk to you
Just
for
a few
little,
more moments.
and then we'll let you go.
But for the cousins, I hope you guys have a fantastic Mother's Day. Thank you everyone in the chat who wished me a happy Mother's Day. I appreciate y'all. I
You're
love
beautiful,
nation
mother.
building. It is
My
the
beautiful
best
mother.
job I ever had. He said they're gonna
Happy
flag
Mother's
y'all
Day.
if I come on. Cousin T.
Happy Mother's
Whitlock,
Day
you
to
know I want you on there.
all
I
my
don't care if
mothers
they
out there.
flag it. You come on.
Yeah,
But we love y'all, and we'll see y'all Monday at the family reunion. Mamba out.